Hi guys, welcome to Manhood Explained. My name is Camille and welcome. Today is 15th of March 2020 and this is live number 79. Today we're going to talk about communicativeness and why you really want it, even if you don't really know it already. You see, I've asked my wife some time ago what are the most important things that they as women want to see in a man. And one of the things that she said was this communicativeness, and I basically asked her, why, and she just looked at me with disbelief that I'm even asking, and she said, because in simple terms, without this, there is no such thing as a relationship. It just doesn't exist. It means that you live together, that maybe you're roommates, but this is not a relationship. And then when I ask her why, what do you mean by that? Why do you say that? Then we get to the conclusion that we're going to talk about basically today. So, listen, think about this one thing. If I'll ask you, what is the situation that you end up with? You'll have to kind of understand that two of you, if you're together, and that's why we're talking about relationship, right? You end up being together because for X amount of years, you as a person, you build your systems of beliefs, your positive and or negative experiences, maybe some traumas, you got some dreams, you found things that you're really interested in, and then hold that package, landed up with her when she brought the same thing from her life. But they're two completely distinct, completely two different experiences. And kind of your worlds kind of collided. And now when you're together, maybe you're married, you basically decide to build something together. And there's no way for you to build anything if you don't know each other. And that's why, at the beginning phase is like, that's why we're so keen to learn, what was your childhood, who do you want to become when you grow up, and so all of this stuff, because you need to have some kind of baseline to build your relationship. And that's fascinating because the more you know about each other, the easier it is to build this kind of relationship. Let's start with it. But then when we go along this whole thing, you get to the moment that we stop talking to each other. And there's different reasons for it. But one thing that not many people talk about is that we change along the way. I got married when I was 20. And now almost, well, it is 20 years later, it's basically, we are completely different people. You mature, you grow up, different things happen, you change the place that you live, you get tons of different experiences, you made some choices, maybe you've got kids. So many things change, and you change. Your system of beliefs changes, your political views changes. So many things happen along that time that you are a different person. And then even though if you are together for so long, I know people who still didn't share the most important things about themselves. Like you have this like very deep level of who you are that was never shared. And how can you expect this relationship to be anything if you're not able to share the most important things that are important for you, and vice versa? So you see, the whole concept that we end up together talking about why communicativeness is a baseline for any relationship that matters and is happy is this one simple truth, that you want her to become part of your world and vice versa, that she wants you to be part of her world as well. But as I'm talking to you guys, I want to concentrate on this particular side of the things, because if you understand that, you'll be able to come back to her and give her the same thing. But let me ask you a simple question. What is the one thing, it can be the stupidest thing ever, what is the one thing that you really care? Or really, really, really care about? It's like your passion in life. And you may say, let's say it's basketball. I said, okay, fair enough. But then, why it's important for you? Well, I like to chill and watch the games. Cool, but why do you watch that? Not, I don't know, soccer or American football or, I don't know, golf or tennis. Why basketball. And then if you think long enough, if I'll kind of try to get to the bottom of things, you'll kind of figure it out why this is the thing. And then you'll have to ask yourself a question. Many times we've got this kind of things like this basketball thing, and our girls they hate when we watch the games, and they don't understand it. They don't want to watch. They don't care. But then I can ask most of you, have you ever told her why this is important for you? Because many of you didn't. And then, let's go and try to find out why. Because look, you've got to understand how we operate as guys. Many times when you've got something that you're interested in, which is kind of outstanding or personal, and it's not the norm that is in your area. Let's say you work in creative environment, then you want to do something with sports, or vice versa. Like, I'm IT, and if I'll say that I like to sing, people are like, okay, fair enough, and they would laugh about it. That's why many times, because we know that it's going to be ridiculed, and this whole thing is going to be laughed out loud, we just don't talk about it. And just be honest, how many of your male friends know about your deepest dreams, or like something that you really really love, and something so important to you? For most of you, probably zero. Because if you look at how we guys build a relationship, we build a relationship on fun, or like experiencing things together, or drinking, depends what part of the world you live in. But in general, we don't talk about important stuff. We just don't. So that's why you're not used to sharing things which are important to you. It's like we are more vulnerable than ladies, because at least they are vulnerable, but at least they talk about it. We're just not used to it. And then some of you, maybe you got experience when you met a girl, you start hanging out with her, you start to talk about things, and maybe she rejected it, maybe she didn't listen, maybe you didn't say enough why it's important to you, and then you just shut down, because you've got this experience that when you opened up, it been ridiculed, or laughed at, or you've been misunderstood, and that you just stop talking about it. But when you bring this whole thing into a relationship, where you end up is that the place that you are in a relationship, but you cannot be yourself, because you cannot share the things that are really important for you. But the whole thing, and that's what my wife tried to say, the whole thing is about being able to do so. Because without that, you're not yourself in a relationship. It's not a relationship. So what would happen if you, I don't know if you've ever happened, right? What would happen if you take your girl, give her a tea, or I don't know, something, and ask her, listen, I think I never told you why this basketball thing is important for me. I want to tell you about it, because there's a story behind it. And then you will say, listen, from a young age, my grandpa taught me how to play this whole game, and he basically taught me how to be a man. He kind of pushed me towards observing what's going on during the game, to kind of learn how to be how to not only play the game, but how to become a man, how to push yourself beyond the limits, and so on. And then maybe you start playing the game. It helps you physically experience all of this. But then after that, you started to observe and be able to watch games, not to play, but to see the strategy behind it, the tactics, how one guy is able to use so many to be like a puppet master, who's seeing who they're playing against, and then use different tactics to win the game. And then you may say that's why I love to watch games, because now when I'm a manager, I like to do the same thing with my people. I to see what is their strength, and use it to build this whole team, so we'll be the best in sales or whatever. An interesting thing will happen if you do this. Most of our ladies are so intuitive and so loving, and if she's in love with you, that's exactly what's going to happen. She's gonna look at this from completely different perspective. Why? Because what's important in all of this is not the game. She couldn't care less about the game. But the important part is you. And then you'll start to experience things like, she don't care about the game, she doesn't understand, she doesn't like it, she doesn't care basically. She'll come and sit with you, bring your beer or something to eat, and she'll tell me about the game. Maybe she'll surprise you because she'll say, I want to go to the game with you to see it live. And I'll say, why? You don't even like it. You've got to understand. She doesn't like the game, she doesn't care. But what she cares and what she loves is to see why and how you are looking at the game, what you are looking there. And the same thing happens with my wife. I have so many hobbies, and she doesn't know, and she never played practically any computer game. She knows the quotes. She knows, you know, how Dying Light ends, because there was something interesting for me. I shared some interesting thing that happened there, and then, you know, some movies, cartoons, or so many different things I shared with her because it's important for me, because then she doesn't care how the game or the movie ends. What she cares about is why it's important for me, because now she kind of builds my like a psychological profile. And then you'll be surprised because she'll support you. She will help you to deal with the things that you're struggling with. She will help you to understand the things that you never been able to understand. It all starts with you being able to kind of figure it out what's important for you and why, and then share with her. That is why many girls are saying that, you know, you guys, you don't feel emotions, you don't share, you don't talk to me. It's not about communication, meaning speaking, talking, because you can do that. You can say I'm hungry. What they're pointing to is your ability to give her part of yourself, because what she wants, as a loving female, that happens all the time, she wants to become part of the world. She wants to be part of the experience and understanding which hides behind it. So listen, in simple terms, this is what I want you to take from this video. If you want to build happy relationship, and if you want to be happy in it, there's one thing you need to understand. To know what's important for you and why. Be kind of self-aware to some degree. And then build a trust in between you two and just share it with her. Start small, you don't have to dump the whole thing on her. But just start sharing and give her a chance. Because I'm sure that she will surprise you. And then you will understand, if you do this, you will understand why many times I say that this kind of things, they're going to redefine your definition of a relationship. Because if you experience it at least once, what does it mean to be fulfilled in your relationship? Because you can be yourself there. That's gonna change the whole game, especially for you. And then when you get it, then you'll be able to come back to her, do the same thing, support her with the things that she is dealing with, dealing with stuff that she really is as a person. So think about it and do something about it. And again, just give her a chance. She'll surprise you. See you tomorrow.